There's a very big question that's bothered me for many, many years. And Baruch Hashem, today at the Koisla Navi, was Niskala to me, was revealed to me the answer to this very, very difficult question in the realm of thanking Hashem when things look bad. You know, you go to a wedding, and it's a beautiful hall. The Chassan and Kala, Tzadikim, Tzidkaniyos, beautiful. Everything is wonderful. Wonderful people, wonderful family, wonderful guests, wonderful location, wonderful time. But the fish is burnt. And if you ask somebody after the wedding, like what really stuck out from the wedding, made the biggest impact in it, a lot of people say, the fish was really burnt. Why is it? Why is that the things which are bad tend to really be bolets? They tend to really stick out. But the things which are good, you have to dig a little bit deep. And I'll just give you another example. For example, let's say someone gets run over by a car and pronounced dead, like myself. So, Baruch Hashem, 30 years later, I was merited to be giving Shir Maternity time and to written books and opened up a kollel as a result of the jolt that I received. But that took a long, long time to find the good in that. But the bad is right there in front of your face. There's blood and ambulances and etc. So why is it that the good is so hidden and the bad is right out there in the open? So the Arizal reveals like this, a very, very interesting thing, that in Shemayim, there's a source for the good and the source for the bad. The source for the good is called, we know, is chesed, chasadim, right? And that, says the Arizal, is in a very, very hidden place. But the source for the bad, which is gvuros, the midah of gvura and gvuros, so that's in a very open place. So the gvura, as it were, and the gvuros, that's in an open field. That's right out there in the open, and that's very, very clear. As we say in America, it's in your face, right? When you go to the wedding and the fish is burnt, it's right there, burnt fish. But the good things of the wedding, the chassan, the kala, these things, the all the good things about the wedding, you have to look for it and see and appreciate it. Appreciate that everything else that you had there, simcha there, and the weather, and the timing, everything. Gemara says in Ksubas that a wedding doesn't happen until the roof is blown off the hall. Right? Usually, it refers to the fact that there's a lot of fighting between the sides of the chassid and kala, financial dealings. At my daughter's wedding, so I ripped my meniscus. So my son-in-law said, we Yotzi are having the roof blown off with having your meniscus ripped. Baruch Hashem, that was the extent of it. But the point is like this. The point is that the good is really, you have to dig really, really deep to find the good. But the bad is right there in the open. And this is what the Arizal says, is that the midas adin is coming from a very, very open source. But the midah of chesed, the attribute of chesed chasadim, the fuel, as it were, which makes the good things happen, that's from a very hidden place. And with this, we could also understand the difference between chokhmah and bina. Chokhmah and bina. The Gra says, "Imein chokhmah and bina in chokhmah." Chokhmah is the general knowledge. Right? When you learn a pasuk in the Torah, that's chokhmah. Read Bereshis bar Elokim eser shemayim v'saaretz. That's chokhmah. It's very hard to understand that pasuk. Ramban says you need really Kabbalah to understand it. But when you see Rashi, and you see the Ramban, and you see the Sforno, and you see Even Ezra, they all break it down. They give you a different explanation, and that's Bina. Bina comes from the side of Gvura, is breaking things down, is breaking down. That's Bina. And that makes things, that's clear. But Chokhmah comes from, is Chesed, that's much harder to understand the Chokhmah. Chokhmah is all of the Bina, which is encapsulated in the Chokhmah, but it's very, very hidden. Shlomo Melech said, it's very far away from me, the Chokhmah. because it's a very, very great avoda to understand the Chachma. You can really, we little people can only get it through the Bina. Vilna Gaon said about himself, he had 150 explanations in every pasuk in Shir Hashem. I've been learning for many years now the Vilna Gaon and Shir Hashem. We have two perushim, two commentaries, which we were zochet to receive. But the Vilna Gaon actually had 150 explanations on every pasuk, and so there's just no one to write them down fast enough. So that's the difference between Chachma and Bina. Chachma is very, very hard and it's very hidden. Bina, you look at the Chumash and you'll see the Ramban, the Rashi, Even Ezra, the Sforno, other Perushim, Chizkuni, and others. So that's that. So I want to finish off with one more thing now, and it's like this: is that it's whoever lives here in Yerushalayim. It's a very, very interesting time we're going to. I've been living here for almost 40 years, Baruch Hashem B'Zocha, and the whole city is being broken down. Like wherever you go, they're digging, they're breaking. To get to the coast this morning, you have to go all around and this, and then you get here, you have to walk up and go through a different exit. They're drilling and they're welding and they're everything. And the whole city is being turned upside down. Yeah, it's being broken down, and that, of course, is coming from Gurus. That's coming from every stira, every breaking down is Gurus and is din and is din. And the Maharal says like this: the Maharal says, before Mashiach comes, there has to be a breakdown. There has to be a breakdown. That's called Chevle Mashiach. Every binyan, in Shabbos, in the Lamentes, in the 39 malachas, we have a malacha of building and a malacha of destroying. And the malacha of destroying, if I come and just take something and smash it, so that's not a Torah, not necessarily a Torah violation of breaking. Breaking means to break something down in order to build something new. That's the creative act of breaking. And that's happening all over. That's happening all over Yerushalayim right now. Right? And people are really annoyed by it because it makes transportation difficult. And even to cross the street is like a whole ordeal until this, and there's no traffic lights. Everything is big, is upside down. It's topsy-turvy. They're building the trains here and changing the pipes, and they're building an elevator here at the coastline. Who knows what else they're doing here, right? It's a complete breakdown of the city. But that breakdown, we have to know, whenever there's a breakdown, it's because there's a building taking place. And that's on a national, or we could say how do you say it, on a citywide level, right? But in every person's life, there's breakdowns, yeah? And hopefully it shouldn't be a nervous breakdown, but we're going through breakdowns every day. Every day we confront Gvura and Gvuros, and it's quite open when the bad things happen. It's quite clear to us. I was speaking to a very chashuv Yid yesterday, and he was telling me his problems, very big problems that he goes through. And I told him a big yisod that I got from a very big chacham, is that you're allowed to make 8 mistakes a day, 5 small ones and 3 big ones. Yeah, and if you make more, that's also right, right? As long as you learn from them. And the mistakes just seem to like pile up, but the things we do right, it's much harder to see. And it goes back to the same principle that Arizal. The good in this world is very, very hidden. The bad is like right there, open in your face. Yeah, and the trick in life, is to see the Mia Isha Chavetz Chaim Oyev Yamim Liras Tayv, to see the good. To see the bad, that's no trick because it's right in your face. But Oyev Yamim Liras Tayv, if you see the cornucopia, the plethora of good that we have in our life, right? Just last Friday, I went through an unbelievable experience of difficulty with my body. It was just like went haywire, and it was like 7 hours of intense pain. Baruch Hashem, it passed. But it's so easy to see the bad, and it's so hard to see the good. So we have to ask Hashem to open our eyes to see the good in every nook and cranny in our life, and as much as possible, not to get distracted by the bad. It's very easy to get distracted by the bad, but the arts in the bad is to be like Bina. Im ein Bina ein das, im ein das ein Bina. Bina leads to das. When you put together all the parts of the things which look bad, you realize, wow, it's really all good, right? And the reason it looked bad is because it was parts. But when all the parts come together, right, that's Bina, that's das, that's Shira, And then we could really sing to Hashem. And this is what Purim is all about. Purim looks terrible. The whole Jewish people slated to be destroyed. Esther is taken a prisoner into the palace. Mordecai is sitting there with sackcloth. Sak ve'efer. Yeah. And Haman is building 50-meter gallows to hang Mordecai. It looks terrible. Klal Yisrael is chayte. They eat from the Suda of Achashverosh. It looks like complete Armageddon, destruction. Terrible. And says the Golden Gaon, but you look at every pasuk separately, pasuk after verse after verse after verse Megillah, and bad, 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 bad. When you put everything together, then it's good. And then you get to that's the story of of Haman taking Mordecai around on a sus, and it's the beginning of the up, right? And then after all the bad pieces have come together, then the good is revealed to us. And it was all along, from the very start of the Megillah. It was meant, from the Suda of Achashverosh, was meant to be born, the Yantif of Purim. But it's very hard to see that when you're in the process. And so too in our own lives. We're going through the worst difficulties. It could be our health. Yeah. I'm telling you, on Friday, I felt like my whole body was about to blow up. Yeah. I was shaking in pain. Pain. And I remember one of my listeners, when I had a really bad pain in my tooth, which came back on Friday, my whole body was in pain, said, you should thank Hashem for the pain as well. And I said, she's right. What did I do? I opened up the Sefer Aneinu, and I said a tefillah for Kabbalistic Yisrael Ma'avet, and it passed. My son made a Kabbalah, say Moda Ani B'Kavana, and then suddenly everything got better. And it's all about that. It's all about seeing the good hidden in the bad. Yeah? And this is the deep idea that the Arizal reveals to us. Yeah? That the bad in Shamayim is very open. It's right out there. It's in the Rishus Rabbim. But the good is in a very hidden place. And therefore, when the good, and everything comes down as a shefa from Shemayim, yeah, so the bad starts in a very open place, so it gets to this world. It's right there in the open. It's in your face, hitting you in the nose, right? The good, you have to dig really, really deep to see the good. And this is what the David Melech is saying, Nisha Chavetz Chaim. Oyev Yomim Lirois Taiv. To see the good, you have to work really, really hard. So Hashem in His infinite mercy should give us the greatest siyata d'shmaya to see the good in every single thing that happens, to dig really deep, to use our bina, to come to das, right? To break down our lives and say, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible, and my children are not listening to me, and my health is bad, and my money is terrible, and my shalom bias, could be much, much better, and everything. And you break it all down. You say, you know what? But in all, it's really good. Because when my wife gets upset at me, it's for a good reason, Because as one Chacham said, husbands can be educated. They can be educated. They can be educated. If they listen to their wives and listen to their wise words, then maybe they'll smarten up a little bit. And children, okay, they don't always do exactly what they're told, but maybe we could be better parents. And money, okay, money comes, money goes. Chazal have told us, give mice or give chomish, say parsh saman, and you'll have much more bracha in your parnasa. And health, try your best, exercise, have a good diet, daven, say Asher Yatzar, right? Well, I made a Kabbalah, Bli Neder, that when I say Asher Yatzar, I'm going to use this special card that someone gave me at the Koso. I have here the special card, and that has Asher Yatzar on it, and say it with more kavana. And these are all ways that we can protect our health, right? So let's all try and take the words of the Arizal to heart and try our best to understand that while the gvuras, while the din is very there out in the open, but we could turn the din, we could sweeten the din. How do you sweeten the din? You sweeten the din by taking it and putting it together, understanding it, and putting it in context, and of course saying Kol Ma'adav Rachman L'Tov Avid. All of these techniques are wonderful ways that we could sweeten our lives and live Kiyamei Hashemayim al Aretz, to have days of Olam Haba, Yemei Hashemayim, Olam Haba al Aretz, in this world. This world could be Olam Haba. You could have the joy of Olam Haba in this world. It's right there for you to take. But you have to work hard. To enjoy life is not easy, right? To have a miserable life is really easy. Just go with the flow. But to have a life where you taste Olam Haba in this world, that is a lot of work. You have to work really hard. And again, the Arizal says, because the good, Hashem has hidden the good, the Chasadim, very, very well. Yeah? And the Ashpar from the Chasadim comes from a very hidden place. So let's make our major efforts to look for the good in our lives every way we can, and as much as possible, not to get distracted by things that look bad. Realize, it's only when we see Kol, we're seeing the whole picture. And we're in the middle of the story, just like the Megillah. You come in the middle, you want to understand. You have to see from the beginning till the end. And if we do this, we'll dance with joy in the wonderful lives that Hashem has given us, man came through it.